Hello guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the drawing shapes with Python Turtle. In this video, I am going to share another quick but very cool function that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. Alright, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so first what we want to do, we're going to define another function. Right, and this function is going to be called cool shapes, for example. Alright, so in this function, we need to, we're going to create a shape based on the number of sides that a user can input, right? So if you input 3 sides, it'll draw a triangular shape. If you input 4 sides, it'll draw a square shape, and so on and so forth, right? So what we want to do is go sides equals integer, or int. We're going to cast this to an int, and we go input, and then inside input we're going to go quotes. Inside input we're going to go quotes, and we're going to say /n and enter number of sides 2 through 6 for the shape, right? And so for this function to work, you can only input 2 through 6 as your sides. If it's 1 or if it's 7 plus, it'll essentially break it. So in order to keep our program from breaking, we can do a little safety net, and we can go if 2 is less than or equal to sides which is less than or equal to 6, then we're going to go colors. And so we're going to define the colors we need, create an array strings, right? So we can go red, blue, green. Sorry about that. Blue, green, orange, yellow, and purple. Right, so now we define the colors we need. And so now we're going to start with a for loop. We're going to go for I in range, and then we're going to go 151. Right, and so now we're going to go t dot pin color, and then pin color rather, I'm sorry. In pin color, we're going to pass in colors, and then we're going to go in brackets I modulus sides. Right, so this takes the remainder of I divided by sides, and that will ensure that we stay between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in terms of the index of the colors, right? Similar to what we did up here in this method, in the number count spiral method, right? So now we're going to go t dot forward, and in forward we're going to pass just a little bit of math. I, which is the number or number that we'd be currently on, I times 3 divided by sides plus I. Right? So move the turtle forward this value wherever this calculates to. Right? And so now I'm going to go t dot left, and inside left we're going to go 360 divided by sides plus 1, right? And that will turn the turtle left this value's amount of degrees, whatever that equates to, right? So now I'm going to go t dot width. I'm going to pass in I times sides divided by 200, right? And so this will this increases our width each and every time the loop executes, because as I increases, the number of the value of this equation increases, right? So each line is going to be slightly more, I guess, wider than the previous line drawn. Right, so now we want to that's pretty much it. We're gonna go. We're gonna exit the for loop. So just backspace a couple times, and then we're gonna go to we're gonna go print, and then we're gonna go /n done. Right. So it tells the user that we're done. So now what we want to do is we're gonna outside of the if statement, we're gonna go else. Right. And then else, and then we're gonna print. We're gonna print please /n please enter a number of sides that is between 2 through 6, right? So that way, if the user inputs 1 or 78, whatever, if it's not 2 through 6, it'll just tell them to enter it 2 through 6, since it only works 2 through 6, right? So now that we have that done, we can actually run it. But before we run it, I'm going to show you how to keep this program running, so you don't have to run, then exit the program and rerun just to call different functions. So first, we think we're going to do for that, we're going to eliminate this time.sleep up here. So we do not want that in the previous method, and then we can essentially just eliminate this import statement. All right. So now that we do that, I'm gonna drag some code over real quick. All right. Here, let me fix that. All right. So now we have two optional functions, but these will be used to allow us to keep our program running until we specify it to stop. All right, so first function, we're gonna call this show menu options, and this essentially tells the users, what options they have in terms of choosing which functions, right? So we're going to assign 1 to number count spiral, which is the first one we wrote, and then we're going to assign 2 to cool shapes, which is the second one we just wrote, and then we're going to assign 0 to exit the program, right? So now we move on to the next function. We're going to call this user choose function, because it allows the user to choose function. So the first thing we want to do there is going to go running equals true, right? And essentially what this does, it dictates like the running state of the program. So if running is false, then the program exits, but if it's true, then obviously it's running. So now while running, which essentially means while true, we're going to show our menu options. So we're going to give the user options to choose their function, and then we're going to ask for input, right? So we can go our user choice equals input, pass in which function would you like to run. This will allow them to input whatever they want. And so if they input 1, we're going to reset the canvas by calling t.reset. Sorry, let me close these parentheses, but we're going to call t.reset to reset the canvas. That way whatever's drawn won't be overlapped. And then we're going to call the method or the function that we want, right? And the same thing down here. If they enter 2, we reset the canvas again, and then we're going to call cool shapes, which aligns with 2, right? And then lastly, if they enter 0, we're going to print by, and then we're going to take our running and change that value to false. That way it'll equate to while false, and if it's while false, well, the whole program ends, right? So now that's explained. So now down here, instead of calling number count spiral, we can call user choose function, right? So now we can run that, and let's say I'm gonna split this up so you can see it better. But let's say we want to we can just run the second function we just wrote, right? So now we can go, we go to run the second one, which aligns with cool shapes, and then it says enter number of shapes we want to draw. So I'm gonna just say 3. We want a triangular shape, for example. So now if you look to the left, our turtle starts drawing a pretty cool triangular shape that has a nice pattern. And if you actually notice, depending on the number of sides you specify, it's going to be the number of colors used. So I specified 3 colors. So if you go to our colors, right here, the first 3 colors is red, blue, and green. Well, here's red, blue, and green. If we used to choose 4, it'd go red, blue, green, and orange, and so on, so forth, right? And if we used to choose 2, it would just be red and blue. But here is our shape. I think it's actually a pretty cool design, and I have it set. You can change this number, but I have it set to draw 150 lines. But if you don't want to wait that long for it to complete, then you can change it. But the higher this number is the bigger the shape's going to be. So I figured 151 or 150 lines would allow the shape to be big enough for the user to see. Right, so here's our finished shape. Now I'm not going to go through all of the shapes 2 through 6 that you can draw. You can experiment on your own, but this is essentially what this this function accomplishes. And so now if we wanted to run our previous method, if we go down to the terminal, we don't have to exit anymore. We can just go which function do you want to run. We could just go 1, and then it will reset the canvas. It'll actually change the background color to black, and it'll run our previous function. Now lastly, if you want to have the background black for the other function we just wrote, we can copy and paste this, and we can input that before sides. Now, no matter what, it'll just be black, right? And so we had to save this and rerun it for the changes to occur, but that's essentially how you create a running program. And now I'm just going to show you a preview of, I guess, a square, for example, show that it resets, so we can just go forward, and then it'll just start drawing a square shape. Alright, so this has been another tutorial on how to, or part 2 of the tutorial on how to draw some pretty cool shapes with Python Turtle. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.